Hey, welcome. Today we're diving into money, but probably not the way you're used to. We're not talking about spreadsheets or stock picks. Nope. We are going straight to the source of all your financial results, the software that's running inside your mind. So let's get into it.
You ever felt this? I mean, really felt it. You get that raise you worked so hard for, your income goes up, but then you look at your bank account at the end of the month and you're just treading water. It is a super common, super frustrating feeling. And the answer isn't in your paycheck. It's all about your perspective. And this right here, this is the whole game. Just think of your brain like a computer. Your financial life is the output. It's dictated by whatever operating system you have installed. And look, if that OS is outdated or it's full of bugs, it doesn't matter how hard you work, the numbers just won't ever add up the way you want them to. So today, we're going to explore the two fundamental operating systems that really determine our financial lives. See, every single one of us is running one of these two programs, whether we know it or not. But here's the most important part. You have the power to choose which one you run. All right, let's start with the default software, the one that comes pre-installed for most of us in society. We're going to call this the consumer mindset. It's the path of least resistance, and frankly, it's the program that keeps millions of hardworking people stuck on a financial treadmill, running faster and faster but going absolutely nowhere. So what's the source code of this consumer mindset? It's a single, powerful belief: scarcity. This is the idea that wealth is a fixed pie, right? If someone else gets a big slice, that automatically means there's less for you. And that belief, it creates this constant low-level anxiety around money that leads to decisions based on fear, not on opportunity. Oh man, this is such a powerful, powerful distinction. I can't afford that, it's a statement. It's a full stop. It completely shuts down all possibility. It is a dead end. But asking, how can I afford that? Well, that turns a brick wall into a puzzle. It actually forces your brain to start looking for solutions, for opportunities, for new skills. One is a period, the other is a question mark that opens up the world. So how does this scarcity mindset actually show up in your day-to-day life? Well, it looks a lot like this. It's prioritizing that immediate dopamine hit over your freedom tomorrow. It means buying things that are constantly draining your bank account. We call those liabilities. It's that pressure to keep up with the Joneses. And it's this dangerous belief that a high income automatically makes you rich, when in reality it often just funds a more expensive version of the same trop. But, and this is a big but, there is another path. Now, it requires a conscious, intentional decision to uninstall that default programming and install a major upgrade: the owner mindset. The owner mindset runs on a totally different core belief: abundance. Now, this isn't some kind of wishful thinking. No, it's the deep understanding that value isn't a fixed pie. Value can be created. Opportunities aren't just found, they're made. This mindset truly believes there is plenty of room for everyone to build their own success. And this shift, it completely changes the fundamental question you ask before you spend your money. The consumer asks, what can I afford? Which is all about your limitations. The owner asks a better question: does this add value to my life, or will this move me closer to my goals? All of a sudden, money stops being something you just spend, and it becomes a tool that you use strategically to build the life you actually want. And what's the primary thing an owner uses that tool for? It's acquiring assets. This is the whole game right here. An asset, to put it super simply, is something that puts money into your pocket over time. A liability takes money out. The owner's goal is just to systematically collect assets that go to work for them, even when they're sleeping. So why is collecting assets so incredibly important? Because it unlocks the single most powerful force in all of finance: compounding. This is where your money starts having babies, and then those babies start having babies. It's this incredible process where your investments start generating their own earnings, creating this unstoppable exponential snowball of wealth. And here is that magic in action. Look at this. After 20 years of investing just $500 a month, you've got a very respectable $250,000. Not bad, but look what happens if you just let it run for 40 years. It doesn't just double, no way. It grows to nearly 5 times that amount. The second 20 years does way, way more of the heavy lifting than the first. That, my friends, is the power of time, and it's fueled by an owner's mindset. So how do we actually make this shift? It's not about flipping a switch overnight, right? It's about consciously installing 3 critical software updates into our thinking. First, and this might be the most important one of all, you have to master delayed gratification. This is basically the marshmallow test for adults. It's the ability to say no to some small, fleeting pleasure today so that you can say yes to massive freedom tomorrow. This one skill, it's probably the single greatest predictor of long-term financial success, period. Number 2, adopt value-based spending. Now listen, this isn't about being cheap. It's about being intentional. It means you stop caring about what other people think, and instead you get crystal clear on what truly brings you joy. And then you can be ruthless about cutting spending on everything else so you have more than enough money for the things that truly matter to you.
And number 3, practice extreme ownership. It is so easy to blame the economy or your boss or taxes for your problems, but that mindset just makes you a passive victim in your own life. Ownership means you stop focusing on what you can't control and you become obsessed with what you can control, your spending, your saving rate, and the skills you choose to develop. This is what lets you become the author of your own financial story.
Okay, so knowing what to do is one thing, but making that change stick, making it a permanent part of your operating system, that's a whole other challenge. So let's just walk through a really simple installation process.
It all starts with awareness. Just start noticing your thoughts about money without any judgment. Ask yourself, where did these beliefs come from? Then you reframe. When you catch yourself thinking, I can't do that, you have to actively challenge it. Rephrase it as a question. Okay, how can I do that? And finally, and this is so crucial, you automate. Look, willpower is flaky. It's unreliable. Systems are not. So you set up automatic transfers to your investment accounts the day you get paid. You make good decisions the default, not something you have to stress about every single month. So let's just put it all together here, side by side. On one side, you've got the consumer mindset. It's driven by scarcity, focused on the short term, and it sees money as something just to buy things. On the other side, you've got the owner mindset. It's driven by abundance, has a long-term vision, and it sees money as a tool to build freedom. At the end of the day, the choice of which system you run, that's what determines your final destination. Which brings us to one final, really critical question. We've talked about investing in stocks and businesses and all that, but what is the one asset that will always give you the best return? The one that actually powers all the others? The answer is you. It's always you. Investing in your own mindset, in your skills, in your financial literacy. Because the software running between your ears is, and always will be, your ultimate asset. Upgrade that, and everything else will follow. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.